Hello again. Welcome back to Tales of Wanderer. I am the Wanderer. I'm here in Southern Wyoming still, very close to the Colorado border at this point. But I figured I'd get another video up for you guys, kind of show you some of what I'm doing, where I'm exploring, some of the beautiful scenery that's out here. This is in the Medicine Bow National Forest. It's a small section of the National Forest, kind of about 30 miles west of Cheyenne. It's in an area called the Vidawoo, I believe it's pronounced. Vidawoo, it's just up from the Vidawoo campground. But as you can tell, the scenery out here is just awe-inspiring, really quite beautiful. I'll give you guys a little view later of where I'm parked. I found a really cool spot that's like right up next to this huge rock formation that towers probably 10 feet taller than or 10 times taller than my camper. So really quite awesome. But I'm out here taking a little hike. I believe this is the Reynolds Hill Loop trail. I'll put a little text up if I'm wrong, but pretty sure that's what it is. It's about a mile bike ride to the trailhead, and then it's about 4.5 miles or so round trip for this trail. I'm still on the out and back section of it, trying to get up to a trail junction, but it should be really cool out here. There's a couple of streams or whatever on the map that shows the trail crossing and going right along, so we'll get to see some of that. Yeah, just can't help but get enough of this beautiful scenery. The rock formations out here are just incredible. It's a much different variety of flora out here than what I'm used to, so that's been really cool. There's a lot of chipmunks out in this area, probably a fair amount of snakes, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. But really enjoying exploring this area, so I'm going to get you guys some video up of this and show you guys what this trail has to offer. So I'll check in with you guys shortly here and get to a next nice viewpoint or landmark or river, stream, something like that. And I hope you guys enjoy this video, and thanks for staying tuned. Wow, look what I just noticed. That's a hell of a climb. Okay, so I think we should be coming up on a trail junction here pretty shortly. This trail is definitely a little tricky to follow. Right now it's pretty beaten in, but there's definitely been some areas where it's kind of hard to find the trail. And I'm not sure if they designate this as a wilderness area or if it's just how they do it in general here in the national forests in Wyoming. But there's been no trail markers, no blazes, nothing like that. So very thankful that I've got, you know, a bar or two of service in spots out here where I've been able to pull up the All Trails app and kind of figure out where on the trail I am. So we're probably, I don't know, not quite halfway, you know, nearing halfway. I don't think that it really brings you up onto Reynolds Hill. I think that's what the rock formations to the right are, is Reynolds Hill. But it still brings you all the way around it. And kind of a neat name for a trail. Once we get further up the trail here, we'll be connecting with the Skeleton Trail, which is pretty neat sounding. So excited to check that out. It's been a really neat trail in the sense that it kind of goes back and forth between these little pockets of birch forest and then little open areas like what's coming up here, where you can kind of get a little more review of the rock formations and different things around here. It's definitely some big pine trees, very red bark. I'm wondering if it's some kind of a red pine or something like that that grows out here. I'll have to look it up, but really enjoying this trail so far, and it's been pretty cool. So I've been able to truck along pretty quickly and getting a little out of breath, but I'm gonna keep moving, get to this trail junction. I think there might be another little river of some sort up here possibly, and keep on trucking down the trail. So see you shortly. Turned off the camera. Got cows on the trail. What's up, cow? Excuse me, pardon me, coming through, bud. Are you gonna move or am I gonna have to go off trail? You sure are pretty though. Don't mind me. Let me find a good way to scoot by you guys. I'm gonna go this way. You're good. Don't mind me. You're alright. Don't freak out. So let me scoot on by here. Oh, a bunch of cows back here. It's one thing that's been a pretty common theme in Wyoming is cows. Cows everywhere. At almost every campsite I've been at, there's cows. What's up, guys? You finding some good grass? Exploring around? See you later. Just talking about how it's a little tricky to keep track of the trails out here, and missed the first junction that I was looking for. But there's another one right up here that just goes the same direction, just a little further. So I'll probably add another half mile to the hike, making it more like 5 instead of 4.5, but that's all right. Definitely a little more mountainous kind of terrain out here. Getting a little winded, but otherwise doing all right. So I'll probably find a spot here for a water break soon and figure out where this trail, oh, I think this is it here. Yeah, no trail marker, no nothing, just that's the trail. That's where I came from. Whew. Beautiful though, absolutely beautiful. Officially heading up the other direction on the trail now for the other side of the loop. It does look like we're gonna hit trail junction here in a little bit, and then probably quite a bit of uphill. Looks like we're gonna cross over, I don't know, 5 or 6 contour lines. It kind of brings you up on top of Reynolds Hill, not on top of some of the pinnacles over there, but definitely up higher. So hopefully should be some nice views up there. Probably a good spot to take a break and get a Cliff Bar in and all that. So some bikers just passed by too. You got to watch for that on narrow single track trails like this. You know, they're normally moving along pretty good. I do biking out on the trails too, so I understand it. But just keep an ear out. You know, it's one of the reasons why it's good not to be wearing headphones, listening to music and drowning out everything around you. Not only do you not hear the beautiful sounds of nature, but you can miss some of the stuff like that. So I do listen to music on trail every once in a while, but I'll listen to it with my phone speaker and keep the volume fairly low so I'm not disturbing others, just enough where I can hear it. particularly on uphill stretches. It's really nice to kick on some music, kind of get some motivation, push yourself a little bit, and helps you kind of push up that hill. So should be running across the junction soon and then the hill, so I'll check in with you guys on the climb more than likely. Should be getting somewhat close to that trail intersection and where we'll cut onto the skeleton trail and start hitting uphill. But yeah, I was going to mention that the weather here has been fairly dramatic and welcome change. When I was back in Cheyenne, Wyoming and Wheatland, Wyoming and all that, in fact, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been low to mid to even high 90s, sometimes over 100. Temperatures at night have been barely getting into the low 60s, or the high 60s, I mean. So that's just been a little rough. You know, I don't run my AC pretty much ever unless I'm plugged in. You know, I pretty much run everything off my 12-volt system and get rid of my microwave. Oh my goodness, look at that rock formation there. That's awesome. But anyways, just the difference between Cheyenne, Wyoming and here went from mid-90s to low to mid-70s for the high instead. And then it went from, is this there? I think this is their intersection. I'll have to check here in a minute. Pretty sure we're going this way. But the nighttime temperatures are actually getting quite cool. Tomorrow night, for instance, they're saying a low of 37 degrees. So I'm not sure if it's elevation or the geography of this area that's causing it, but honestly, it's been a very welcome change. You know, instead of it being just blazing hot, it's more reasonable temperatures I can get out and hike in without just being kind of miserable the whole time. So I've really been enjoying that. But I think this is the way. I'll go ahead and check the map here in a minute. But there's a split basically like this on the map. But anyways, there's also a lot of chipmunks in this area, I've noticed. By camp, I've noticed that they're pretty tame. I'm guessing they've probably gotten food from people off and on. There's one particularly chubby chipmunk that decided, oh yeah, there's another one running off in the grass there. But he was very, very tame. He came up within 2 feet of my feet, kind of begging for food. I was in my camper sitting down for a while, and I was trying to look, and he's sitting on my side step looking in my side door. I'll put a photo up of that. You know, it's just really kind of cute. But I don't feed them. You know, I did put a little bowl of water out for them just because it's been very warm and not almost any rain out in this area. It rains very seldomly in southern Wyoming. So I put a little bowl of water out, and hopefully if they're thirsty, they can get a drink. But yeah, I don't feed wildlife, and I recommend no one else do either. It just causes problems, causes them to get used to people, used to begging for food, and just really altogether not a good idea. So. Man, that's so cool. But I'm going to check my map here quick before I drop down in elevation a little bit here, probably before a big climb, and make sure I'm heading the right way. I'm heading the right way. In fact, that little side trail back there was not even on the All Trails app. That's one thing I would caution y'all about if you do use the All Trails app. It's always good to have a secondary map available or something else you can reference it against. Because not only are some of the trails like that side trail not listed on the app, but then you get other ones that might just be some random bushwhacking trail someone took and recorded on the app. And it's not really a trail, but it's there, you know, so you're going to end up on some pretty wild areas. I know, for instance, when I was in the Buffalo Gap National Grasslands right outside the Badlands, me and one of my friends who's on the road full-time took a little hike, you know, and I was pretty sure I knew where we were going and, you know, how to get where we were moving, you know, out towards the park, you know, to get some photos and take a little bike ride. I figured we could bike through the grasslands, get out there. It turned out that it was just a bushwhacking trail someone had taken across these grasslands, so we ended up having to walk our bikes for about 1.5 miles through some pretty thick grasslands before we were able to connect up with the different spots. So it worked out in the end, but yeah, we definitely had some bushwhacking to do, and she was kind of laughing, you know, like, James, I thought you knew what way we were going. Normally I do, but yeah, it worked out. Yeah, it was beautiful. We saw bighorn sheep and bison and prairie dogs and all sorts of stuff out that way. So, all right, I'm going to get some more mileage under my feet here and see you guys probably on the climb. gosh. Man, this place just keeps on giving. This is just spectacular. I am loving this hike. Again, this is the Reynolds Hill Loop. If anyone wants to come out and do this hike. So far it's been pretty moderate, but definitely going to be hitting some uphill here in a little bit. Just absolutely stunningly beautiful. Some of these rock formations are just fascinating. And you look at that big spire up there. There's those little rocks. Well, they're boulders still. They look little from here. Smaller rocks just perched up on top there. I wonder if those will still be here in 50 years or if they'll have tumbled down. Alright, so we're getting awfully close to the uphill. I think we're going up that way. It's probably going to be quite the climb. A little beaver dam here. I don't see the beaver at the moment, but really, I cannot get enough of this. This is just an amazingly beautiful trail. But I think from here on, until at least I get to the high ground, I'm going to go ahead and try to just put some clips together with some music for you. Probably about to be breathing like I'm wearing Darth Vader's mask, so that should be fun. And yeah, I'll probably just see you guys after this short montage, get some photos and video and music and all that. Try not to fall in the water. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll see you guys shortly. Really hope I'm going the right way. Hopefully no backtracking in my near future. That's not a good sign. I don't know. There's that's terrible. I feel like this is definitely the wrong way. This is another forest road here. I had to go through a gate to get here. Man, these trails are really hard to keep track of out here. You know, some of them are really just like hidden little cutoffs. And I don't think I was supposed to go all the way around this, so backtracking it is. It's alright. A couple more tenths of a mile onto my hike today. Probably put another half mile altogether, so 5.5 instead of 4.5 now. Ah, man. Yeah, it's been really tricky keeping track of the trails out here. No markers, no blazes, but lots of side trails, little stuff people have made, probably cow trails, things like that. So head back this direction, avoid the huge piles of cow poop, and try to figure out where the hell I went wrong. I think this might be the junction I missed. It's just this little beaten side trail here, kind of hidden. I ended up going this way. This looks like right about where I need to go, I hope. Unfortunately, service cut out completely down in this valley, so I don't really have the ability to reference my position on a map, but this does seem to be a pretty beaten trail now that I'm on it, so hopefully it's the right direction. I've apparently gone a lot further than I thought I did. I'm actually rounding the close side to where we started the loop portion of this trail of this little mountainous area here. So I probably only got maybe, I don't know, 2/10 of a mile, something like that, before I connect back up with the where the loop started, and I get back on the out and, in this case, back trail. So got lost a couple times, but it's all right. Ended up on the right trail, and this is just breathtaking, just absolutely amazing. And we made it back to where the loop trail originally began. We originally started off that direction, went all the way around this huge rock formation. I think it's called Reynolds Hill, and back this way. So really just stunningly beautiful trail. I highly recommend it. Try to bring good mapping and all that. You know, it's pretty tough to keep track of the trail in some spots, but overall not terrible for wayfinding and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this back portion of the out and back trail and get back to camp, and I think I'll check in with you guys there, show you guys kind of where I'm camping, and give you guys an idea of what I'm doing and my future plans and everything. So I'll see you guys in probably about an hour. Made it back. Definitely out of breath, but back to camp. Got my solar set up before I left, so should be charging my battery real nice. And this is where I am staying. Yeah, pretty fantastic. And then you can kind of go just around the corner here and get up on some rocks, and that mountain range that we were seeing out there while we were hiking is in view. Really beautiful. The sunset's like right near it. Really quite fantastic. I'll try to throw up a photo of the sunset from last night for y'all, but really just loving the spot. I mean, this formation back here is probably 10 times or more as tall as my camper, you know, just massive. And then got these different little rolling hills and fields off in this direction. A lot of times you get cows off over right in here. Just really, really fantastic. I do wish I had a way to remove graffiti off these stones, because of course we got graffiti there. We got graffiti over on this stone here, and we got graffiti way up there, and there's some more over there. You know, just if you're gonna do that stuff, just stay out of these areas. You know, it's just disgusting to see people come out into such a beautiful area, such a beautiful landmark, and defile it, you know, with this graffiti. No one wants to see that. You know, everyone's gonna think you're a POS for doing it, so just don't come out here. But another thing is, I'm gonna have to fill up this water bowl again. Looks like the chipmunks drained it dry. So they're definitely thirsty today. I had that filled up before I left, so I'm going to throw some more water in there. But I'm going to go ahead and get in the camper here, catch my breath, take a little break. And today I'll also be making my semi-famous peachy mango salsa. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a view of that, and show you guys that, you know, that it's really, you know, not impossible to make anything you want as far as food goes in a camper. You know, you don't have to feel restricted because of it. You can find a way to make it work. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing for that here in a little bit, but I'm going to catch my breath, take a little break, get some water, get the chipmunks some water, and I will see y'all in just a little while. So I've got my start on peachy mango salsa. I got the mangoes all diced up already. Now I'm working on the peaches, my scrap bucket and all that. but this is definitely the part of the recipe that takes the longest, is peeling and dicing. I'm doing a double batch, so 8 peaches and 4 mangoes, 2 red onions, and 3 orange bell peppers. All have to be diced up, and the peaches and mangoes have to be peeled. So definitely takes a little while, but sure is a pretty salsa when it's done. So I'll check with you guys in a minute here and try to get some of this together. I've got some jars boiling, sterilizing on the stove at the moment, so getting things going. Alright, on to the last vegetable to dice, jalapeno peppers. Little tip for you in case you didn't know, wear gloves when you're cutting this amount of peppers. It'll get into cuts, scrapes, anything like that on your hands and burn like crazy. Don't touch your face, you know, just cut the peppers and throw the gloves out and wash your hands. This stuff is definitely tricky to deal with, but gloves help a lot. So I got the peaches, mangoes, red onion, orange bell pepper, all that is diced. Now I got the jalapeno peppers to do, and then I have to zest and juice some limes. I already got the minced garlic. That should be pretty close to everything. So I'm going to check in with you guys when I get everything together and get it started in the pot. So stay tuned and we'll see how this salsa turns out. Alright, well, that took quite a while. The veggie prep for this is really pretty extensive, but I figure I'll go ahead and give you all a sneak peek of my recipe for peachy mango salsa. Seeing as y'all were willing to stick with me through this video, you get a little treat here if you ever want to make this. So this is all the ingredients you're going to need. I've got a little over 4 cups of red onion, diced. Pretty much everything is diced. 6 tablespoons of chopped cilantro. About 4 cups of red bell pepper. It says 12. My recipe is normally 12 jalapenos. This time I did 13 and I left some of the seeds in. I'm trying to get a little more heat this time. Last time it didn't have much heat. 6 tablespoons of minced garlic. I used just the jarred pre-minced garlic for it. Saved me some time. 2 good-sized limes worth of juice and zest from those limes. 8 peaches diced. 4 mangoes diced. And keep in mind, this is all for a double batch. This will make about 2 gallons, 12 jars, 12 pint jars worth of salsa. So if you want to, do a single batch, you can cut all these measurements in half. 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of white vinegar, and just a little bit of salt, about maybe a teaspoon of salt total. And then I got all my jars here. I've pre-boiled those jars and put lids on it and make sure they're nice and sterilized, good to go. So I'll go over it one more time for you. If you want to do, this recipe, these are the measurements. 4 cups each of red onion and bell pepper, and those can be adjusted a little bit to your taste. 6 tablespoons of chopped cilantro. 2 limes worth of juice and zest, 8 peaches, 4 mangoes, 12 jalapenos, 6 tablespoons of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, 2 cups worth of sugar, which again can be adjusted a little bit to your taste if you want it sweeter or less sweet, and 3 cups of white vinegar. So that's the ingredients for the peachy mango salsa, and basically you're just going to throw this all in a pot, mix it up, bring it up to a simmer and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. You don't want to overcook it. And then once it's done simmering, you're going to put the hot salsa into the jars, put the lids on, try not to over tighten them, and boil the jars to seal them for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here, and I'll show you guys a little bit of the progress as it goes and see what we get out of it. And away we go. Doesn't that look pretty? It's just a really beautiful salsa in my opinion. Now obviously this makes a lot of salsa. It doesn't make quite 2 gallons actually. This is probably between 1.5 and 1 3/4 gallons, which is good because 2 gallons is actually 16 pints worth of jarred salsa. So this should fit pretty well into the 12 pints. I might have a little bit left over that I'll have to do right away. Such a tragedy, I know, right? But I'm going to really enjoy making this. I try to do a double batch usually because it does, of course, take quite a bit of prep work with the cutting of the vegetables and the fruit and everything, dicing everything, peeling everything. With the mangoes and peaches, you want to have them peeled, of course. So it takes quite a while, so I like to do a big batch, and then I'm good to go for most of the year. 12 pints will last me probably 9 months at least. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for this to simmer, get it in some jars, and I'll check in with you guys shortly when I kind of get this ready to seal up. It's not quite simmering yet, it's getting there, but it's definitely starting to make more juices. The sugar brings out a lot of the juices and the peaches and the mangoes, of course. And then I forgot one step. I got some extra water here that's going to be boiling. And this is just something that I forgot, you know, not something you need to worry about if you're doing the recipe. But in a sense, you kind of want to remember this in this, like this ladle, for instance, that I'll be using to dole out the salsa into the jars. I have not boiled this or sterilized this at all, and I want to make sure that I do that. You want to make sure everything is as sterile as possible, as clean as possible in the jarring process, to make sure that, you know, you don't have any contaminants that end up in your jar that'll end up making it mold or go bad or anything like that. So just make sure everything's very clean, boil everything that you can, and try to make sure that everything is sterile when you do the canning process. We've been simmering for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna kill the heat here, start jarring my sterilized ladle here. A little stir. And the biggest thing is you want to try to make sure you're keeping the rims of your jars nice and clear from any kind of debris or anything. So try to get a nice even mixture of liquid and fruit filling. So you want to leave basically just from the neck up empty. Leave some space, some breathing room in the jar. Something along those lines. I'm going to go ahead and get these jarred up and we'll get back to you. Alright, we got our first 4 jars in the water. You want to have a solid inch or so above the jars to make sure they're really well submerged in the boiling water. And you want to boil them 15 to 20 minutes, 20 minutes to be safe. So this is coming back to a boil now that I put the first 4 in. I'll have 3 batches to boil, you know, and that's fine if you can't do it. You know, obviously it's very difficult to try to do 12 jars at once, so you can do it in batches. It's not going to affect the ability for it to seal. Ideally, you do want the jars to still be warm when you put them in the boiling water. You know, obviously if they're room temperature or cold and you put them in boiling water, there's the chance that they could crack or break. So yeah, we're on our way. I'll go ahead and show you guys the sealed jars when they're done, and that should be about it for this video. So I'll see you in a few. Well, we got all 8 of these sealed up. I got the last batch in the water boiling now. So that's about it for the salsa. I've already heard one of the jars plink. That's when the top goes down, you hear a little plink, you know, and that's about one of the most satisfying sounds I know. So yeah, that's great. You know, I got the salsa all done. I got 12 pints, plus I've got, had a good little bit in the bowl. Ate that already. It's honestly, I'm hoping it builds up the heat a little bit. You know, with sitting in the jar, you know, the capsaicin should still be releasing over time. So I'm hoping that it'll get a little more spicy, because it really didn't have almost any spice for the stuff that I just tried, but that was not jarred or boiled or gonna sit or anything like that. So this stuff will probably be slightly more spicy, which will be good. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. Thank you guys for watching and checking out the recipe, and you know, if you guys make it, let me know know how it turned out. Maybe give me some comments on if you guys decided to do any tweaks or what you think of it. So I think that'll be about it for this video. There's a pretty good chance I'll take another hike at some point while I'm out here. I know there's a couple in this area, but the trailheads are a little further, so I'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful out here. I'm going to be here for probably 5 to 7 days before I start heading into Colorado finally. So I'm really excited about that. Y'all stay tuned. Definitely will be seeing some beautiful scenery out in Colorado. And for now, this is The Wanderer signing off. Thank y'all for watching. And if you want to see my future videos and keep up with my channel, please hit that subscribe button. All right, y'all have a nice day.